For Richard Hammond, best known as the daredevil co-presenter of Top Gear and the Grand Tour, the death of his father, Alan Hammond, marked a moment when the unstoppable energy of his life came grinding to a halt. In October 2024, Alan passed away at 80 after a battle with cancer, leaving behind not only a grieving family, but also a son whose public bravado hides a very private heartbreak. To viewers, Richard is the thrill-seeking hamster forever laughing in the face of danger. But in his own eyes, Alan was far more important than any on-screen persona. A gentle, steady man whose quiet strength shaped his son's life in ways no television audience could ever see. On his podcast, Who We Are Now, co-hosted with his daughter Izzy, Richard has spoken with uncharacteristic vulnerability about his grief. He described it as tremendous and strange, admitting that months later, he still finds himself caught off guard. He might be tinkering in his workshop or weighing something important, and the instinct rises unbidden. I must tell Dad. And then comes the sharp collapse of realization. Oh, I can't. In a more recent interview, Hammond reflected on Alan's final year, which he described not in terms of pain or decline, but as utterly magnificent. Despite the illness that was taking his body, Alan never lost his gentleness, his patience, or his kindness. To Richard, that grace was an extraordinary gift, a masterclass in how to face the end with courage and serenity. It was the most breathtaking thing to watch, Richard recalled. He made it beautiful. I thanked him for it, and he knows that's how I felt, how we all felt. Perhaps the most moving detail Richard shared were of the imaginary walks he and his father took during Alan's final days in hospice care. Together, in conversation, they strolled the shores of Boutir, a tranquil lake in the English countryside. Richard guided his father step by step through the imagined scenery, and Alan would smile as if he were truly there, soaking in the sunlight, the water, the peace. For Richard, those walks were more than comfort. They were a lifeline, a way to hold his father close even as time slipped away. Alan Hammond's influence on his son was profound and enduring. Once a legal executive turned author, he was the man who first nurtured Richard's passion for machines. Together, they built Richard's first bike, though, as Richard Riley notes, his father always let him take the lead. That simple choice carried a lesson deeper than mechanics. It was about trust, about encouragement over control, about a father who knew how to give his child the space to grow. Those lessons became the foundation of the man Richard would become, both on screen and off. Grief, Richard admits, does not overwhelm him daily. Instead, it lingers in the background, waiting quietly, sometimes ambushing him in unguarded moments. He even finds himself talking aloud to his father, not because he believes Alan can reply, but because he knows his father's presence is still there, woven into him, part of his being, in a way that loss can never erase. Richard Hammond has survived fiery crashes, career upheavals, and even the collapse of his marriage. He has rebuilt his body and his life more than once. But in losing his father, he has discovered that some injuries are not of flesh and bone, but of the soul, and that these scars cut deeper than any broken body ever could. Yet, Alan's legacy endures. In every small conversation Richard still has with him, in every memory of kindness, in every quiet reminder of patience and love, Alan continues to guide his son. The road ahead may feel lonelier, but because of the lessons his father left behind, Richard Hammond knows one thing with certainty: he will never truly walk it alone.